Before destroying and dismantling rugby league defences and helping the New South Wales Blues to the state of origin, Angus Crichton lived a shockingly normal and quiet life. The 6'2", 220-pound monster was actually a farmer who had no intentions of even playing in the NRL. Now he is widely considered a superstar, often playing for Australia and New South Wales, but the man himself is still a farmer and community man at heart. This is the story of how a young, unknown farmer made it to the pinnacle of the NRL. Born in Temora, New South Wales on February 5, 1996, Angus Crichton is your typical Australian farmer. Not only does he look the part with his imposing stature, but he also has the humble demeanour you'd expect from a man growing up in a rural region. By nature, Angus is a family man. He often talks well about his parents and with great respect for his two sisters. In fact, he was so close with his family that he often referred to his father as his brother, who ultimately taught him what it takes to be a man in life. Growing up on a farm around New South Wales, Crichton had to play his schoolboy footy at one of the local clubs. Closest to the family farm was the Young Cherry Pickers, where Angus would get his first taste of rugby. He later grew up, playing for the Young Yabbies, slowly etching out a name for himself in rugby union. Little did everyone know that he would one day end up playing for the Australian National Rugby League side. Upon enrolling in high school, Angus chose Scots College, located in Sydney. It was quite a move for the young farm boy who now had to deal with the bright lights of the city. But despite this imposing move, Angus was still an excellent player. Throughout high school, he earned his stripes playing rugby union, and by the looks of it, he was heading to become the next Wallaby superstar. In fact, Crichton earned himself the honour of representing the New South Wales school's first 15, before earning even more recognition when he was selected for the Australian Schoolboys 15. This is not an honour many get, and some of the top players to have earned this include the likes of Michael Hooper, David Pocock, and Stephen Larkham, to name a few. All these players have gone on to etch their names in the history books and be considered legends of the sport. However, during his off time at the school, he also enrolled in the Sydney Roosters organisation, where he played some league footy for the lower grade teams at the Roosters. Despite this, he still continued playing for the school, earning a second year at the Australian Schoolboys Rugby Union team in his final year. But with school done and Crichton becoming a hot commodity in the league, he was snapped up by the South Sydney Rabbitohs following high school, and this is where the story of Angus Crichton kicks off. Unfortunately, it would take another year of playing for the Rabbitohs before he finally earned the right to make his NRL debut. This would come in round 19 of the 2016 season, facing the Brisbane Broncos. But the young farm boy would soon become a superstar. It wasn't until 3 years after high school in 2017 that Crichton finally announced himself to the world. He earned impeccable reviews from critics while playing for the South Sydney side that left little to be desired. By the end of the year, Crichton had made 22 appearances in which he scored 7 tries. The cherry on the cake has to be his hat-trick against the Gold Coast Titans. But it was absolutely clear that this young farmer had no intention of playing for an under-par side the following season, and was certainly looking to step up to the bigger leagues. Despite being a loyalist, it was announced on December 18 that Crichton had signed for the South Sydney's rivals, the Roosters, which would see him play for the Sydney Prize team for the next 3 years. And what a great decision this was. The following year, tragedy struck when Crichton began suffering reoccurring injuries to his left middle finger. He would have to undergo surgery to have it amputated, but continued playing his final season for the Rabbitohs. His 2 years of impressive performances ultimately earned him a call-up to play for the New South Wales Blues. Crichton was about to make his debut in State of Origin when he was just 22 years old. Despite fans believing he would be subbed most of the time, the young farm boy played in all 3 State of Origin games. Many believe that it is thanks to him that New South Wales managed to once again lift the shield for the first time since Crichton finished high school in 2014. The next year is where things truly kick off. Now part of the Roosters, which is arguably a favourite every single season, Crichton actually came face to face with his former club, the Rabbitohs, in round 1. The Roosters lost, and Crichton didn't have a great game, even being involved in a minor scuffle with former teammate Cody Walker. Nevertheless, the young farm boy grew even stronger over the next few seasons, repeatedly earning some top honours. In his first season with the Roosters, he would even earn a spot on the Australian Under-23 League team, where he also showed his absolute class. This continued for the next few years, with the farm boy now becoming an absolute force to be dealt with on the field. But back home, he was facing a few demons of his own. The 2023 season was completely different for Angus. In February, he was granted indefinite personal leave. This came after it was revealed that he had been suffering from bipolar disorder. Despite not a lot of information being available about it at the time, Crichton naturally sought the right medical help and assistance. His family supported him significantly throughout his entire ordeal, and even the Roosters management were not afraid to make all the resources they could be available for Angus to help improve his mental state back to where it should be. Fortunately, he made a solid recovery, still managing to play 13 games for the Roosters that season, including both the finals. Despite the Roosters falling in both finals, the fact that Crichton was recovered and on the path back to normality was a massive win for him and the organisation. With his hiatus now behind him, it was no surprise to see him stick with the organisation that helped him through it all. Crichton played the 2024 season for the Roosters, putting on 2 incredible performances against Brisbane and the New Zealand Warriors. He'd re-sign another 2-year deal, which will earn him a reported $1.6 million by 2026. It was also in 2024, now almost 30, that he had his best State of Origin season ever. Angus would go on to earn the Wally Lewis Medal and Brad Fittler Medal, but to cap this all off, he would finish off the season with another hat-trick against the Gold Coast Titans, making them arguably his favourite team to play against. When it comes to his personal life, Angus Crichton is like an open book. He is your typical farm boy with nothing to hide, but does try to keep his family affairs as private as possible. He is quite vocal about his sisters and the love he shares for them, but is also quite thankful for the Roosters organisation, which has treated him more like family than anything else. In 2022, Angus and business partner Florian Lagrange opened a barbershop in one of Australia's travel hubs, Bondi Beach. It was also this year that he finally earned the honours of representing Australia's rugby league side and made an immediate impact. As of this video, he has played 8 games, scoring 2 tries. But there is definitely still a lot of rugby left for this young superstar. The only question remains whether his mental health is on the right track. Should Angus Crichton manage to keep his mental health in perfect order, there is no denying the superstar he will one day be remembered as. It is not always easy for a farm boy to climb the ranks. With fewer opportunities and the imposing intimidation of the city often scaring off many people, it is quite nice to see someone like Angus Crichton coming through the ranks. As a man from humble beginnings, only time will tell what Angus Crichton is truly capable of. But what do you think about this young farm boy? Tell us in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you back here at the line break.